Hello and welcome. Today we're diving into a really fascinating perspective, one that sees all the world's religions not as separate, competing paths, but more like chapters in a single unfolding story. We're going to look at this idea through the lens of the Bahá'í faith to see how they answer a pretty fundamental question.
So, let's just put it out there. Are all religions good? Are they all just different roads that lead to the same destination? It's a huge question, and it can feel totally overwhelming. But what's interesting is that the Bahá'í faith offers a very specific, very structured way of looking at it.
To get our heads around this, we have to start with their foundational idea, this core belief that all the major religions are actually part of one single story that's been unfolding over thousands of years.
And this idea has a name. It's called progressive revelation. Honestly, the best way to think of it is like a divine education for humanity. The core belief here is that God didn't just drop one message and then, go silent. Instead, the idea is that truth is revealed progressively, step by step, as humanity matures and evolves.
So how does this actually work? Well, the idea is that a divine messenger, figures like Moses, Buddha, Jesus, or Muhammad, appears for a specific time in history. They basically do two things. First, they confirm the essential spiritual truths of the messengers who came before them. But then, they also introduce new social laws and guidance that are tailor-made for that specific age. And this just keeps on happening, creating what they see as a continuous, unbroken chain of revelation.
And this quote from Baha'u'llah, the founder of the Bahá'í faith, really gets to the heart of it. He said, "This is the changeless faith of God, eternal in the past, eternal in the future." See what that's getting at? The outer form of religion might change, but that underlying spiritual faith, that's one and the same.
Okay, so if all religions are part of this one eternal faith, does that mean they are all equally good or true for us right now? That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Let's explore how the Bahá'í teachings tackle that.
From this point of view, the answer is a big, definitive yes. Faiths like Christianity, Islam, Judaism, Buddhism, they're all seen as sharing a common divine source. There are essential, valid chapters in that single book of humanity's spiritual education.
However, and this is a really important however, there's a crucial distinction. Think of it like a doctor prescribing medicine. The dose you give a child is going to be very different from what you give a full-grown adult, even if the goal, health, is exactly the same. In the same way, the social laws of each religion were the perfect prescription for humanity's age at that time. The spiritual truths are eternal, but the social teachings are relative to the era.
And that right there, that brings us to the most important pivot in the whole argument. If past religions were the right medicine for their time, what's the prescription needed for the challenges we all face today?
It's the logical next question, right? If they're all chapters in the same book, can't we just pick one we like? Why would a whole new chapter be necessary?
Well, while absolutely respecting the divine origin of all past revelations, the Bahá'í perspective argues that our modern, incredibly interconnected world needs a new message. The challenges of the 21st century, from climate change to global economic crises, are totally unique, and so they require a unique spiritual and social framework to address them.
And so, according to the Bahá'í faith, this is where Baha'u'llah comes in. He is considered the messenger for today. His teachings are seen as that next chapter, designed specifically to guide humanity through the complexities of the modern world and, crucially, to unite it.
So what's the ultimate goal of this message for today? Well, it's not just about a new set of rules, it's about a really grand vision for the future of all humanity.
This vision is often described as a future golden age. It's a hugely aspirational goal, sure, but it's seen as a time of global peace and harmony that humanity is actually destined to achieve, with these new teachings acting as the blueprint.
And this vision isn't vague. It's defined by some very specific, world-changing goals. The complete end of all wars, the political unity of all nations, and, eventually, a deeper unity of all people is one single human family. It's a future where scientific progress and spiritual development finally go hand in hand.
Okay, so we've covered the theology and prophecy, but how does all this translate into daily life? What's the core principle that really animates this entire belief system?
At its most fundamental level, when you boil it all down, the purpose of life in the Bahá'í teachings is pretty simple: to know, to love, and to serve God.
But here's the beautiful, practical part, and that love for God isn't just some abstract feeling. It's expressed directly through love and service to humanity. The path to the spiritual is through the very practical work of building a better world and fostering peace and fellowship among all people.
And so, this entire framework ultimately pivots from the question, which religion is right, to a much more personal and, I think, profound question. In what way does one serve humanity? And that's a question that really transcends any single faith, inviting all of us to reflect on our own part in building a better world. Thanks for exploring this with me.